Hi, my name is Lindsay Bjork, and I am the Coordinator of Strategic Initiatives here in the College of Business, and I am here with Dr. Jillian Yarbrough. She is the Virginia Engler Professor of Business Management, and she's also a co-advisor for SHRM, which is a student group here in the College of Business. And so how are you?
Very good.
Awesome. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Tell us what helped you decide to become a professor?
I think I grew up in Albuquerque, and some of my favorite families, the parents were both professors at UNM, and I would watch how the parents would bring home interesting topics. If you went to dinner at their house, these parents had really interesting topics that they were talking about, their research and their learning, and I thought, I want to be engaged in that kind of learning my whole life, and those are the kind of dinner conversations I hope to have. That, I like to have fun conversations, but I also like to know kind of research and theory about the things that I like to talk about. And then when I went to Texas Christian University, I had an amazing professor, Dr. Mary Patton, and she has been the Dean of the College of Education, and she is an inspiring person to know, and I believe she inspired many, many, many professors from her. So with Dr. Patton and with how I thought that the professor engaged in ongoing learning, I said, this is what I want to do, and I went into graduate school at Texas A&M then.
Awesome. Okay. So you just said you went to graduate school, and you got your PhD from A&M?
Yes.
And then why did you choose management?
So I started, my bachelor's degree is in early childhood education. And I was in these classrooms, and as I mentioned, Dr. Mary Patton, she gave us a lot of tips about how to work well with children, but I began to realize these are really tips about how to work well with people of any age. And one of the things she said, always run a class with respect. And she wanted the teacher to be offering respect so that there was respect in the classroom. Another thing that she emphasized that has always stayed with me is to give the children options. She said, always give them option A or option B, and both options are fine with you. And this is a good way to work with children. And so I knew I wanted to go on to graduate school, and I did feel called to do more training and development with adults than young children. So my master's and PhD at A&M is in educational human resource development, which emphasizes HR. It emphasizes training and development. That time it emphasized distance learning, adult education, and I really fell in love with Malcolm Knowles' work and how he sees adult education, and I knew I wanted to be doing teaching, but these fundamental ideas that I had learned to apply in the kindergarten classroom, I said, I'm bringing those forward. I think those are ways in which you create respect and in which you give people options, and so I'm in this educational human resource development arena, and I began to focus heavily on training and development. So my internships, my graduate assistantships, my early work and jobs were all in training and development. And I think that I began to shift towards, if we can be a learning environment that is focused on respect, that is focused on giving people autonomy, we can do well in management. So after my PhD, I did apply and get into the MBA program at A&M. I did my MBA with the emphasis in management. So I look at management as really a teaching experience. As a manager, when we manage, and I see this every day at WT, I know this is how WT managers and administrators and faculty, they all are leading in this way, but you're really a teacher, and you're going in and you're offering resources, and you're getting to know people, and you're giving them information so that they can exceed their goals and expectations. So that's how I kind of came into management, through this idea of how do we create positive environments where people can reach goals and feel good and be happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell us about your industry background.
So I've done lots of So I've done lots of different things in industry. Of course, I've taught in the classrooms, and I've done higher education in many different capacities. I've worked at the Center for Distance Learning Research. I have I did an internship at Raytheon Corporation with their HR Leadership Development Program. I've done consulting for many years where I help companies. I've done everything from one-on-one manager consulting, where I design a program for for an individual manager, and we talk about what would your goals be for your career, and then I bring my curriculum and information in. And I've also done large-scale training and development for organizations on specific topics from communication to leadership to diversity, those types of trainings.
Cool. Okay. So what are some suggestions that you have for WT students based on your own academic journey?
You know, and I think my journey has been a little bit different. I have an amazing brother who, at very young, knew what he was going to do. He knew what school he was going to go to, and he knew where he was going to work, and he did those things. He really did. He said it early, and you could just watch him ticking off his goals. And I think that that's fabulous. That is a good way to really be efficient in achieving your goals. For me, I kind of I like lots of people. I like lots of environments, and I was always open to trying, I will learn a little bit about this topic, or I'll work with this organization, or I'll talk to these people. And so my journey was a little bit maybe more chaotic in the sense that I didn't have an exact goal. I knew I wanted to be a professor, and over time I learned I want to be a professor of management. And so I had boundaries to the goal of I'm going to be a professor, so I know I need to go to graduate school, but I didn't have all the specifics. And I think that is also a good way to achieve goals. I think it is okay to have a broad idea of what you're hoping for and to just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and different doors will close, and to not be discouraged when one door closes. All that's doing, if you're someone like me that has broad goals, when one of the doors closes, you don't need to be sad. You say, oh, good, somebody is helping me narrow my goal. And then other doors will open. And the doors that open when I have this kind of goal strategy, they're even better than I could have imagined. I could not be happier at WT. I enjoy my coworkers so much. I enjoy the students. I'm amazed by them every day. And so I know that this path for me of these broad goals where I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, I followed the doors that opened, led to a place where I'm very, very happy and the work is very meaningful.
That's awesome. I think that's a great thing to tell students, because a lot of times they just are worried. I don't know what I want to be, and so
it's hard. Well, especially, and my brother would be okay. He and I've had many conversations of this, and he would be okay that I shared. And he is somebody who can almost quantify a goal and make it happen. And so I do empathize with students who are saying, I'm not sure what I'm going to be or where I'm going to go, because I kind of grew up in that environment, and I could watch somebody who could quantify a goal, and I would think, I'm not sure. And I do think it's important to say you may have several different fields through your life, or keep going, and there will be doors that open, and it's going to be better than you can plan. Sometimes if you plan, you might, and you should plan, but sometimes if you plan too much, you might miss a great opportunity. So if you're somebody who's not able to quantify or make exact things happen, be looking for things that are even better than you could have expected.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your favorite class to teach?
Oh, my goodness. And I think that would be one of the positives at WT. I've enjoyed every class. And each semester the classes get better and better. And the students, the interaction I have with the students, I feel like we begin each class and we're getting to know each other. And by the end of the class, I'm so thankful to know them. And I'm thankful they're my colleagues, and I'm thankful to have shared ideas. It would be hard to say. I could say that there are key learning objectives in each course that are really aligned with my personal values, and those are meaningful. For example, cultural intelligence. I believe in diversity and inclusion, and I believe in being curious about people and learning about people and giving people opportunity to think broadly and bring unique skills in. I really believe that's the way you have a wonderful organization. So I enjoy teaching cultural intelligence and talking about those concepts of, want to learn about your coworkers, want to learn about other environments and other cultures. And when you gain that information, you become stronger. Your organization becomes stronger. I like organizational behavior. I really teeter. I really enjoy HR and management and psychology, and organizational behavior has many of those overarching concepts. I enjoy the theorists that are in psychology, and when I get to apply those in my management classes, I enjoy that. I enjoy principles of management, where again I enjoy delving into the theories and talking about how we become effective managers. Seminar in healthcare management is so rewarding, especially during the pandemic. That has been a meaningful class for me, to hear from these healthcare providers who are on the front lines and to hear them describing what they're doing in terms of saving lives has been very, very meaningful for me, very rewarding. And then to hear when I talk with them and they talk about the strategies they have for applying management such that there's quality of care, is very rewarding. So I would say every course I teach, I enjoy. And that's probably a difficulty for me, because I would teach them all, right? Just give all of them
Let me teach
to me.
everyone. One of every section.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. So what is something about management that your students are surprised to learn about? Maybe something they don't necessarily realize they're going to learn about when they get into a management class.
I think it's important, especially, coming from an HR, so I'm HR, much of the way I think is HR, maybe over 50%, maybe 60% HR, maybe 40% management, something like that. And when I started in HR, I was working at Coastal Credit Union in North Carolina as a business analyst and an operations manager is one of the roles that I've had. And one of the things about HR is that it was distanced from the rest of the company. A very amazing organization, amazing people. But I noticed that it would be valuable to have maybe more integration. And I noticed, and now this was several decades ago, right? And so one of the things when we think about HR, sometimes we think about it as distanced from the rest of the organization. And I really think it should be in the mix, in the middle. And when you look at organizations now, they have evolved. That is how they're doing that. That's an old perspective. But as a newer perspective, HR is mixed in the realm. They're at the executive table, the chief HR officer, and those types of things. But I think it is critical to think of management and to think of HR as not discipline, but rather if you can do a really great job hiring and bring great talent in, as a manager, your job is no longer micromanaging or disciplining or trying to catch people doing something wrong. Rather, it becomes this opportunity where you get to dialogue with people and together you reach goals and you are supporting them in being happy at work and achieving. And I think that is what I'd want students to know, and WT students, as they leave and become leaders in their organization. Effective managers are people that are supporting organizational achievement one employee at a time, and it can be very, very positive, productive. I think performance evaluations should be developmental, communications where everyone is moving forward, and that makes management and HR very, very fun.
Okay. So last year you won the College of Business Excellence in Professional Service Award. Can you tell us about some of the service that you do for the college?
I will, and I have to say, much of the service that I do is with the Society for Human Resource Management as an advisor, and I am a co-advisor with Dr. Chauhan, and nothing would be accomplished if we're really a great team. And so any accomplishment that is coming out of SHRM would be because Dr. Chauhan's help and his support and his ideas, and so we're really a team. And when we achieve in SHRM, it is also it is Dr. Chauhan and myself and the student leaders. The student leaders are amazing. But a couple of things that are dear to my heart that Dr. Chauhan has helped me to do, or he has taken additional responsibilities and allowed me to focus on these areas for SHRM, would be the Downtown Women's Shelter and doing professional training at the Downtown Women's Shelter. And at times I do the training, and at times I take students, and we talk about how to be helping in your community. I think HR and management, sometimes we forget that these are skills that can bring value to your community. And you can, when we teach people how to put together quality resumes, how to do a great job in an interview, you're giving them skills where they get to achieve the goals that they want. So for me, the Downtown Women's Shelter and volunteering and bringing job skills and training and development was very, very rewarding and fun. Also, Dr. Chauhan and I have we have the SHRM CP that we offer, and so there's a training that I offer once a week for WT students who would like to obtain this designation. It's a very important designation if you want to go into HR. It is really a designation that opens the door between maybe graduation and getting that first job. And so we offer the training, and that's for free here at WT. If you're a WT student and you're management and you have taken the appropriate courses, then I offer this training for you once a week, and we prepare you to obtain this designation. And that is very, very rewarding to me because I believe in giving those skills. When you have the SHRM CP, you have this broad understanding of HR and how to bring that to your organization, and I think that makes you a better team member, a better leader, a better employee. So even if a student just participates in the training, I think it is valuable and meaningful. And certainly when we have a student that participates in the training and then achieves the designation, it's wonderful. And to watch our students walk across the stage with their degree and their CP, I know they've set themselves up for great success.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what else do the students in SHRM do? What are some of the events that they do each year?
We do there are some amazing projects that Dr. Chauhan and I have put together, and I would say I really like the clothing closet, and we've gotten enough awareness now that Dr. Chauhan and I both receive calls frequently from the community. I received a call from a bank in Amarillo with so many suits. I was unsure of how I could get the suits from the bank to our clothing closet. It was a scene. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Chauhan is also taking these calls and also bringing these clothes back to our campus. But we've gotten enough attention now that we are now putting in these wonderful professional clothes that are, we do our clothing drive, and we have the fashion show, and then you can come and get these clothes. You can get them all year long. If you talk to Dr. Chauhan, our student leaders, or myself will let you in. But I think it is so valuable to give students an awareness of what clothes should I be wearing, and we talk about that. Here would be clothes for this type of industry. Here would be clothes for this type of industry. So to have that information, and then to be able to say, and I'm going to give you a suit. I'm going to give you, shoes or something to get started. I believe the students deserve that, and it's really meaningful to have the clothing closet. We do the women's shelter. I think one of the things that's very valuable about SHRM is how do you run a meeting? How do you network? And by being a member of our WT SHRM, you become a member of the National SHRM. And joining a professional organization is one of the best things you can do for yourself as a student. There are job opportunities, there are networking opportunities, there's ongoing training. We have students who've received SHRM scholarships. Right. But just to have that on your resume, I would hope students would join SHRM and be fully involved and get the benefits of all of that, learning how to run a meeting, learning about service, how does HR and management contribute to a community. But even if you join SHRM and you attend the meetings and your time does not permit you to be an officer or to be fully engaged, to be able to put SHRM on your resume is good. That helps you in terms of looking like somebody who is very serious about your profession.
And SHRM is for all majors?
It is in general. Mm-hmm. It's generally management and HR, Society for Human Resource Management. But I would argue, I would make an argument for yes, for what you just said. I obviously am very I'm an advocate for HR, and I believe in when we understand people and we work in a way that we are training and developing and supporting and communicating and hiring well, we have better organizations, and HR brings all of that. But I would say no matter what role you're doing, if you're going to be a teacher, if you're going to be an accountant, if you're going to be an aerospace engineer, you will be on a hiring committee. Mm-hmm. You will be a part of evaluations. You may be shuffled into management. You will be talking about compliance. You will have to know about employment law. And having awareness of that going in would make you, A, better in those roles, and B, competitive. And so we are open. If somebody is in a different major but wants to talk about and learn about SHRM, we're open to that. If you had the appropriate courses, we could also help you with the designation. You would have to have some management courses to get the designation. But I believe everyone benefits with HR knowledge.
Awesome. Okay. So let's move on to more personal questions.
Okay.
Tell us about your family.
I have, my husband is Jillian Yarbrough, and he is an inorganic chemist here at WT. And it's interesting to work in the same organization as your husband. I didn't know how will that be okay, and it has been wonderful. He's I enjoy seeing him, but I don't see him that much. He's in another discipline, another department. I would have to schedule to see him, but it's nice to know where he is. And I think he's a great chemistry professor, and I've enjoyed getting to know all of his colleagues as well. I have a son, Jillian Yarbrough, and he is 15. He's Jason Jr. And then I have a daughter, Julia. She is 13. I have a daughter, Jamie. She is 11. And we have a bad Boston Terrier, Sheldon. And he's not bad. I say bad in the sense that I'm giving him a title. He would value that title of bad Sheldon. He works very hard not to follow any rules. He'd be very proud of it. But I think we have lived. I've spent time from Palo Alto to Chapel Hill, and everywhere in between. This is our favorite place that we live. I have my children say many times to me, one of my daughters said, Amarillo is the greatest city in the country, and I said, really, really? And we're between Amarillo and Canyon. We do a lot in Canyon. We are in the Canyon ISD school district. We're just barely into Amarillo. But to have my husband and I be so happy in our jobs, and then to hear my children say things like, this is the best place we've ever lived. We love it here. The people are, we like the people. It's really nice. So a family of 5, and we all really enjoy being here.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I've always lived here, so I'm biased,
best.
But I like it here too.
It is really good. It's a great place.
So tell us about your interests and hobbies.
Let's see. So, I think I'm going to have to think a minute. As I think as you get older, sometimes your hobbies and interests take a back seat. I'm not sure that that's good. I think we should
to whatever your kids' interests and hobbies are. Yes, I understand this feeling.
I could do some categories of things that I do, and then things that I wish that I did. I do have a exercise bike, and I enjoy that very much, and I try to ride that some. And I do, I watch the Tour de France, and I ride my exercise bike, and I think, maybe could I compete? And of course, obviously not. But sometimes I do enjoy the exercise bike and the imagination of could I compete in that. But I do a little cooking, but not. I think my children would not categorize that as fabulous. They like, I can give you they like my waffles, so that would be maybe my specialty, and so that's not very advanced. I think my hobbies would have to be enjoying my children. I enjoy the activities that they're doing. Canyon and Amarillo have had amazing activities for my children, and going and watching them do these different things, I would say, is what I enjoy the most. I do enjoy watching TV and sitting with my dogs. I do enjoy that, and talking to my family. I would say this as a hobby, maybe it's not necessarily a hobby. My coworkers here are so nice, and I enjoy visiting with them, and it has become something that is rewarding for me. And maybe since I don't have a clear hobby, the opportunity to dialogue and talk with my colleagues is one of my favorite things that I get to do.
I understand that.
Yeah, they're very fun.
I think I don't have as many hobbies either right now. It feels like because of kids and things, but I enjoy just hanging out with people and talking about things. So I can see
nice.
that. So tell us about people that have had an impact in your life.
I could name several. Let me think. I would have to say, as I've already mentioned, Dr. Mary Patton, I would have to say her encouragement and enthusiasm made me think about teaching in a different way, and it's never left me. I was at TCU many decades ago, and I can still picture some of her lectures. I can still picture her enthusiasm, and the way she taught was not about a lecture. However, she had to lecture some, very hands-on, so that shaped the way that I wanted to teach. I was blessed with very good parents that did a lot of teaching at home. They have influenced me greatly. As I've mentioned, my brother is a really brilliant person, very kind person, and he absolutely inspired me. I would say my husband is inspiring. I've known him a long time now. We're going to have been married 20 years in November. And to watch him, I met him in graduate school, and to watch him achieve and move through challenges, and he's a great team member. If you can have him on a team, it's good. And he's my main team member, and so I would say he is inspiring. If I were to say someone external to my family, Susan Helms was an astronaut, and she was an astronaut when I was in high school. I think she has now retired as a general, and when I was in high school, she was at my church. Her family went to my church in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so I'm growing up watching this lady who went to the Air Force Academy, and then she went to Stanford, and then she becomes an astronaut. And it's somebody that I would see, at church weddings. Here's Susan Helms, and she's dancing with people and interacting, and then I'm thinking, and you're about to go to space, and you're here having cake with us. And she was very personable, very humble, but I understood who she was. And to know, when you know somebody who is breaking boundaries, seems fearless. To me, I don't want to go to space. That's scary to me. She's not fearful. And so to have somebody kind of, moving ahead of you, and you watch somebody who says, I'm going to do something really challenging that is somewhat scary, and I'm going to choose not to be fearful and just to push for that goal. To have that in front of you, I definitely would have challenges and think, well, I'm not going to, I can do this. If Susan can go to space, I can finish this test. And so to have these people in front of you that do these amazing things, I would have to put her on that list as well. I would say our leadership here, Dr. Abdullah, Dr. Terry, for me, have been inspiring. They have been, I watch them, not just with me, they are people who ask questions. How would you like to see your career go? What opportunities would you like to have? And then they create those opportunities for everybody. I see them doing that and as somebody who studies management, we don't get to see that in action very often. And so I would say Dr. Abdullah and Dr. Terry have been inspiring to me in terms of creating opportunities for me, in terms of me being able to watch them create opportunities for other people. I see them doing it, and to watch them lead, and the ideas and the values, the transparency, the excellent communication, the positive work environment that is coming from them. And that's your best practices in management, but I'm getting to watch it unfold.
Okay. So last question. What is your best piece of advice, just in general? Doesn't have to be for students, just in life.
Always look for the positive. No matter what is happening, there is something good. And you have to choose to, there could be a lot of negative going on over here, and you have to say, but there is, over here, I see one good thing, and I'm going to zero in and I'm going to focus on that, and I'm going to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I'm going to go towards the positive. I'm going to speak of the positive, even though you're fully aware of what may be going on over here. And in that way, you can keep yourself moving forward. You can keep achieving, and likely, most challenges, if you give it time and you keep working at it, you overcome them, and you just keep moving forward and you move past it, and those challenges weren't as bad as you thought. So I say always look for the positive, always try to focus on the positive.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
I had a
you.
great time talking with you.
I enjoyed speaking with you. Thank you.
All right.